Selling cars since '83. I'm busting fools and teaching schools, sharing tools and breaking rules. Who's your daddy? They say it's me, breaking it down for all to see. Keep it simple, keep it clear. The status quo is all I fear.
Hi, welcome to the Who's Your Danny Show. Those of you tuning in to hear my interview with Mike Good, my competing general manager, I have some bad news. We had some technical difficulties. We couldn't get the show downloaded, so we're going to skip ahead to an interview that I had with Joy Little with Auto Alert. It's a great conversation. Enjoy this and look forward to maybe next week or the week after my interview with Mike Good. My apologies, but you're going to enjoy this interview with Joy, a good friend of mine. Joey Little. What's
Danny.
up, man? What are you doing?
I came into work today.
You did?
I did.
I bet your bosses are proud.
They are.
Yeah,
So,
you are the boss, so, you know.
it's windy and cold in Kansas City this morning.
Oh, you're in Kansas City. Now, you're a Red Sox fan, right?
I'm a Red Sox fan.
Okay, but you are nice to the Royals. I'm a big Royals fan, right?
Yeah, the Royals actually play about a mile and a half that way. So I can see them outside my office window, which is nice.
I would imagine you have some hookups on some tickets, and I'm coming down for a game.
Yeah, if you come here, we'll take a drink. Royals are number 2 in my heart. Red Sox will always be number 1, but the Royals, you got to cheer on the hometown team. And your enthusiasm on Twitter and Facebook was very appreciated here in Kansas City when they were in the World Series.
Excellent. Well, I have a Boston Red Sox cap, and I'll wear it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Do you see this? It says, "I'd rather be in Fenway." Is what it says. So
I like. I don't know what we're going to title this episode, but can you put the sign up that that you had? This would be an effective title. Perfect. That's the name of today's show. The unofficial name. Probably won't promote that title, but I like it.
it's called a working title.
Joey, if you can, in a nutshell, we know that you're now under Auto Alert, that MotoFuse and Auto Alert merged. And tell me what you do on a day-to-day basis, what your title is, a little bit about what you're responsible for in your company.
So I think anybody gets to answer that question, they got to figure out how many hats they're wearing.
Right.
I would say so. I was part of MotoFuse in the very beginning years when we were developing products that were making social media, social networking easier for dealerships and providing a true cause to use social, also the reputation management. So it was myself, Kendall Billman, Tom Walls, Keith Pulcinelli, my executive team, and we all came from Vin Solutions.
Right.
We got kind of bored over there. They weren't really building anything new. So what we call the innovators, we moved on, and I joined Kendall and all them. And so I started as a product guy. I started as just our director of product.
Right.
And from there, is Mike DeLay, former CEO and founder of Vin Solutions, came on MotoFuse at the beginning of 2015. I kind of then it's kind of hard. So I had marketing, internal marketing for digital, and then product. Always worked Tom Walls in the dev team. Then sales with Kendall at the time.
Right.
And then we moved into our products. Kind of morphed what my position was. We moved into employee ambassadorship. We talked a little bit off the air about this, about creating ambassadors and cheerleaders inside the dealership. Well,
Right.
I was doing that here at our company too, and spreading the word. What am I, number 5 now? The sociologist. So I talk to dealers all across the country, find out their pain points, find out what's going on, not only just on software, but also with every other pain point that they have. And then finally, I make the coffee in the morning.
Good.
I'm sure I'm leaving out about 700 things that go on here. But it's not just me. It's everybody here at Auto Alert kind of wears the 10 hats or whatever
Right.
it takes.
Well, and that's a culture. We just get in, we do what needs to be done. As long as things get done by the end of the day, hey, that's the deal. And I would say something else that people may not know, that you and I share some background. We found this out a few conferences ago, is that we were both DJs at one time.
That's right. Yeah.
DJs. I can't remember where we were DJs, but I remember that we both were DJs at similar establishments. And so I would imagine that I'm no stranger to a microphone, and you aren't either. So it's
Right.
cool that we both had that similar profession.
in common. And I really don't have time to go into a lot of details about that, but we were able to share some stories and some good business lessons from those experiences, right?
Yeah, I had the opportunity in the industry that you and I were both in. Also, the opportunity to be the DJ, the
Yeah.
turntablist,
Yeah.
and then finally I did radio for about 8 years, which is
Awesome.
how I got into the car business.
So you did radio. Was it a music channel, a talk radio? What was it?
It was that was Nickelback on Speakers Rock Leader V100. Foo Fighters on the way up, coming up. Also listen for that sound to be caller number 10. You know that whole
Yeah, and it's funny that you said Nickelback and music in the same sentence.
little shout out to Eric Milch.
And then did you play any Creed? It's another good one.
I played Creed with Arms Wide Open, absolutely, which is really funny. On my radio show, we had what's called bed music, which was the music that was the morning on the morning shows, the bus driver,
Right.
and all of our bed music that would play underneath us when we would talk would be the music that we weren't allowed to play because it was corporate radio.
Right.
So you'd hear like Beastie Boy cuts underneath there. You would hear you hear some Frank Zappa. So that's where we kind of got away with the establishment.
Yeah, right. Well, you have to fight the establishment in some way, and
Yeah, I've met Nickelback 5 times.
oh, I'm so jealous. The guy's freakishly tall, isn't he?
He's normal.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, he's not too bad.
Oh.
The only reason I was excited, I know we'll get back on track, is Nickelback's pyro guy for their live shows
Right.
was the former Pantera pyro guy. So
Wow.
they have a really awesome show. It's just if you put it earplugs.
You had to start that way. Hey, and I don't mind getting off track. Me and Brent Weiss talked about punk rock music forever. And,
Oh, yeah.
Me and Hunter talked about Targa Trophy racing and his Cadillac. In this show, I want people to get to know the people that they see maybe, or read their podcast, or read their blogs, or hear their podcasts, or see their shows. Just kind of get to know them. And this business is just full of a bunch of characters, and hearing the backstories, sometimes it's good and fun, and sometimes you meet someone that you've been either reading or listening to, and you're like, oh, the person's not that great. So, but you know what? We all have something to offer. I saw you here recently, and I'm ashamed to say that I had never had a demo of MotoFuse, and this is not a commercial at all. But the thing that blew me away, and the thing that kind of really motivated me on today's topic, was the fact that social media, but let's say Facebook, because I think when we think social media, that's a good place to start, is people go, well, oh gosh, it's really deteriorating the way people communicate. Everybody just does this. I don't want to be on Facebook. But the thing that I think a lot of people don't recognize, that I know you do, and it's the first thing I thought about, is, oh my gosh, the greatest marketing data in the history of the world has been created. We used to rely on a census or some of this market data that we got updated every year, 5 years, 10 years. And people are updating their own marketing information every second of every day, and it's insane. And the car world is figuring that out. But I want to talk today about social data and your CRM, and how that fits in, and how we can use social data, not in a creepy stalker way, but a way we can utilize that to personalize our communication with our customers. And we'll talk more about some other things about social media, but that in particular. So take that topic and run with it.
So I think first, when we talk about creepy and we talk about, knowing things about our customers that our customers don't think we're supposed to know or anything,
Right.
I think that you're going to see a big shift in that within the next 10 years. I see millennials expecting you to know everything about them.
Right.
Before, so the creepy factor goes away. I always like to use online dating as a good analogy when it comes to data that you find on social media.
Right.
Look at any woman that's out there that's doing online dating. We'll take just the average woman. She wants to know every single thing she can about a man or woman. This is 2016.
Sure.
That's my little plug for the liberalism.
Yeah.
But you look at, she's going to want to know every single thing she can about a man before she's going to even meet him for a first date or even for a coffee. So, but that's not creepy, right?
Right.
But if you do it,
Right. No, yeah, it's fine if I do it. It's creepy if anyone else does it.
But it's just showing that it's going to go that direction. And millennials are going to expect us to know what they want and how they want it and what they listen to and what they're watching. That's the trend that's going that way. So creepiness will go away. Old guys like you and I, it'll always be a little odd. Second is I look at even the older generation, the baby boomer generation. My mom is in her 60s, and my mom, my background in social media is because I have a sister that's 14 years younger than me. I'm 41 years old. She was on Friendster and MySpace at the time that I was in radio.
Right.
She got me into MySpace, and I just saw the potential of this, not just the communication aspect, but the data aspect.
Right.
Because when I was online dating, I would immediately take the name of the person that I would be, whatever it would be at the time, Match.com, and go to Facebook and see if they have a profile.
Right.
And then I can look and see exactly what they're like.
Right.
With privacy settings being kind of difficult, people tend to leave those alone.
Right.
So now you look at it as a business that's trying to sell. We used to, the company that we were formerly with, Vin Solutions, which I'm sure that 80% of the people watching this are familiar with. We had a reverse lookup button in the CRM. That's all it was. You push the button, it would take the email address of whoever submitted that lead or whatever that information said to CRM, and it would just go look to see if there was a profile.
Right.
I mean, that was the early days. And of course, if you saw country music, which, are you a country music fan? Are you a big country music fan, or was that
not big? I have a very vast taste in music, but I'm not. Country's just kind of in there. I don't hate it, but I don't listen to it a lot.
I know this is gonna you're gonna push this out at a different time than when we're actually recording it.
Right.
Could be weeks later, but last night was the Grammys. Were you watching the Grammys or not watching the Grammys?
I watched the second half of it. I was supposed to record it and I didn't, so I got in trouble from my wife. So watched the second half, but I was watching it with an angry woman.
I think that we need to, when we get back on traffic, I think we should take these Grammy stars and we should match them up to the personalities that we think in automotive are. Like, who's the Kanye West of automotive retail? Who's the Taylor Swift? Who's the Kendrick Lamar? I think that would be a good kind of homework project to work on next time we see each other.
Okay, let's do it. I'm going to work on that.
April Rain is probably the Katy Perry of
the auto Grammys. We're gonna work on that. Okay, I'm sitting here trying to think who I am, and I'm probably Nickelback.
I would say you're more like a David Bowie.
Oh, wow.
Like David Bowie today, not David Bowie from the 70s.
You mean the dead David Bowie? Not the Lady Gaga version of David Bowie?
She got a tattoo on her side.
Yeah,
of David Bowie. No, this is what it's so fun with you, Danny, is that you can make fun of yourself like better than anybody I've ever met in my entire life, which makes it so much easier for anybody talking to you to kind of throw in a jab every once in a while.
Oh, you know what? I love it. And I'll tell you, I've thought about that because I do have a little self-deprecating kind of sense of humor. My dad did, and he was seriously the greatest salesman I've ever met. But he loved being the butt of jokes, and it was his way. People just loved being around him, and they would say anything. And he was very humble, but he was incredibly successful, and his relationships were strong with people. And so when you say that, it makes me think of him, and it's a huge compliment. Thank you. And it's fun. As a matter of fact, I think I was just telling you, I interviewed a competing general manager in my own market that's like killing me to death. And so I'm around just going, oh, okay, now tell me why you murder me here and there. I don't plan on catching this guy. They're huge, but it is what it is. I don't know. I think It's important to know what you don't know, and oh my God, you got to be smart to know what I don't know, because it's a huge list. Back to social. Go ahead.
Well, no, bringing up like your father, my mother, when I first got into social media, my mother was a big pushback, like big mid-60s.
Right.
Huge pushback. My grandmother is still to this day will not use Amazon because, she doesn't want her credit card information floating around on the interwebs. So with my mom, and then just recently, 2 days ago, I noticed that my mom posts one of those, what type of person are you based off of this information that you've just given us, kind of answer these questions.
Right.
Which I know that scrapes all of her Facebook data. would get a marketer like me everything I need to know about this woman.
Right.
And here she is. I mean, just look at the transition of I'm not getting on Facebook because somebody's going to know when I'm not home and I'm vacationing and going to rob me.
Right.
To now, because I don't really know I'm doing it, here's all the data I have on me. So,
My kids are. Oh, but I downloaded this game off the internet. It's free. I said, yeah. And there's some guy at his house that's just generating free things for people. He's the digital Santa Claus. He wants nothing in return. And so, and there's no telling. I've given up. Basically, I'll just do whatever. I think I just open it all up and you can have it all. And good luck with it is what I
well, that's
say.
where I think that's where we're getting to. I mean, that's the point we're getting to. There's nothing to hide anymore. If you talk to some of my friends down in development, down on the fourth floor here at Auto Alert, you talk to Joe Stewart.
Yep.
I asked him to do a Google Hangout with Sally Ulianich, who's out in Seattle, works for us.
Right.
And he looked at me like I asked him to give him the keys to his house and I was going to give them to a stranger. He's like, you want me to get on? And this is a dev guy, so now it's got me a little worried because I know what I'm pulling. He's like, I'm not going to get on a Google Hangout.
Hey, and there's conspiracy theorists in every walk. I mean, Big Brother's around. I don't know. I think I'm not smart enough to really even care anymore. And I don't know that it's that bad that we have that everything's kind of open. There's going to be people that take advantage of it. But you know what? There's jack-offs everywhere. There's bad people in every profession. So, who cares? So we're talking about openness. We're talking about data. We're talking about marketing information that's at our fingertips. And one of the things you were showing me is we were sitting inside of a CRM, and this panel came out, and it gave me social information on this person inside the CRM and data that blew my mind. And I thought, this would just give me a real leg up on marketing, or not marketing, but really reaching this person and finding out how to work that deal. Tell me what you're seeing in that area and maybe explain that to the people.
So what we did, I'm going to mention this for the third time. We're the architects of one of the best CRMs that's on the market right now. Mm-hmm. Also, the architect of some of the best websites that are on the web. We developed a product at Vin Solutions called VinLens, which is a way that you could watch customers on your website in real time, see what kind of device they're using, see what their IP address. If they were at a Panera using the IP there, you could push them a Panera coupon through the web. I mean, we built some really innovative stuff. Our dealers wanted us to not stop. And what we had realized and what we were starting to do with this kind of information that we're having is we realized that the third generation leads mm-hmm. that are coming in, internet leads, they're different. And the reason I don't know if I explained this to you in Atlanta, but first generation 10 years ago, if I had an OEM, or 12 years ago, OEM website, because I saw it on TV, I go to Buick.com or Ford.com, and I want to get more information on an F-150. The little, lead form comes up. I fill that thing out completely. 12 years ago, I'm giving first name, last name, email address, phone number. Hey, if you can't get me at that phone number, here's a secondary phone number you can call me at.
Here's my social security number, so we can go ahead and get started on the credit.
Yeah, and that's when consumers learned about buy or die.
Right.
And so inundated, because this time, 12 years ago, dealerships didn't really know what to do with that lead.
Right.
The processes weren't really it was just like call the hell out of that customer to buy a damn car. And if they don't buy it from us, call them for the next 6 months.
Right.
And so that was first generation. So that's whoa, right? Second generation is, okay, I'm not going to do that again.
Right.
This time I just saw a really awesome Dukes of Hazzard commercial, or maybe I loved your dealership, so I go back to your website, or I go to Auto Trader because of that Dukes of Hazzard commercial. Right. And this time I just put in maybe just my phone number, right? Or maybe just my first name and my email address. Buy or die happens again.
Right.
And so now it's like fool me once, shame on me. I don't know how that thing goes, but
yeah.
So then now 2016 for third generation internet leads, I'm done, right? So what I've done now and what the consumer base is seeing is that there's 40, 50,000 websites out there that can help me try to become more educated than your salespeople mm-hmm. or your internet. So I'm going to TrueCar, I'm going to Auto Trader, I'm going to KBB, I'm going to your website, I'm going to your competitor's website, and I'm getting all this information. I know this because that same woman that I told my mom, she did this just about 6 months to a year ago. And she believed that she knew more about the vehicle. She almost could desk her own deal.
Right.
And then she did a walk up to the dealership. Well, when she did a walk up to the dealership, they have no information on her.
Right.
So we thought, hey, listen, that information that she's going online to do, it's through social media, but it's also through websites.
Right.
What if we collected all that data, put it on top of the CRM? So just in the case that you get a new lead that comes in, we can tell you the history of basically what vehicles they've been looking at, what's the intensity level that they've looked at each one of those vehicles. What if they're submitting a lead on a certain vehicle, we can tell you if that's the one that they've been searching online or if they're looking at other ones. So if somebody shows up to your dealership looking for a GMC, pickup,
Right.
but their intensity level is higher on a Ford F-150, then it's probably, you probably know where your competition is.
Sure.
Also through social. We wanted to connect the employees' social with the dealership, not meaning mostly sales.
Right.
Sales is always, you go out to a lot and you'll see them taking pictures out on the lot and
Yeah.
then putting them up, In fact, a funny story, I was in New York. You'll find this very funny. Can we cuss on this show? I'll try to keep it
Yeah,
minimal.
I've had Brent Weiss and Robert Wiseman, and I mean this is R-rated show.
Is it?
Yeah.
So I'm out at this dealership, and this sales guy, mid-30s, goes out on the lot, takes some pictures of a vehicle, and you see it every day.
Right.
Comes back over to the smoking section, pops out a cigarette, and I could look over his shoulder kind of, and I could see that he was on Facebook, and he was loading up these pictures. And, he was probably going to put, like, I'll make you a heck of a deal on it in the month,
Right.
I'm going to make my, we see it.
Right.
And before he posted those pictures, which I assumed were going to Facebook, the floor manager comes out and goes, "God damn it, Jim. Get your ass back here on the phones and get off in Facebook, right?
Right.
And get these phone calls, right?" So I know automatically cold calling.
Right.
I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like this dude, like he's gonna reach more people probably with that post
Right.
than
he would
with
all
a
day
cold
on the phones.
call." Yeah. So the misconception, and not only that, but so that employee is doing it already. We wanted to be able to take that employee data, especially from sales data, who clicks on those cars, like who are his friends that didn't leave a comment or a post or a like,
Right.
but clicked on it because they're kind of interested in what this guy's selling.
Sure.
We wanted to grab that data and put it on top of the CRM too, and then actually notify that salesperson.
Wow.
So, Danny, if you're selling cars for me and you're posting all this stuff out there, and one of your friends is clicking on something and it's building kind of a portfolio of VDPs or SRPs or whatever vehicles, I want them to alert you and say, "Hey, listen, your buddy Jimmy, who I don't know how you know him, but you know him on Facebook,
Right.
is actively online looking for a vehicle."
Wow. And just a way of so we're talking about predictive stuff as well. I mean, well, not predictive, but it's just intelligence. You know what people are doing, even though they're not submitting these leads, they're not giving you the data, but you can see. One of the things that I loved on the tool was, doesn't it create an index or some kind of like a heat meter that says they're looking at this kind of vehicle and it assigns it an index, this one and this one, so you know what kind of vehicle they're looking at, even based on how many times they visited that type of car versus another. Explain that, because I thought that was super cool.
So we have the intensity level, which we've narrowed it down to we can almost not only tell you what vehicle we're 95% sure that they're going to buy.
Right.
We can also tell you, because of days in market, time on site, that within 72 hours they're going to buy that vehicle.
Right.
The amount of data that customers and consumers, I mean, that's you and I, everybody,
Right.
have online creates these amazing algorithms that we can predict buying habits, not just shopping habits, but buying habits.
Sure.
And that's amazing. And just with the intensity level of what vehicle they're wanting to get into, we had a customer, his name was James, at the Ford dealership that's just north of us here.
Mm-hmm.
James submitted a lead on a 2015 Ford Explorer XLT. So the BDC, of course, sends the email out.
Yeah.
They try to call him for the setup to do a test drive. James does not respond to the phone call, doesn't open up the email. And of course, the email is all about the Ford Explorer. Well, once we were able, this is the first customer we were actually put through our system, we found out that James's intensity level was for a 2014 Ford F-150.
Right.
That was like a 62%. He had a low 2015, and they have intensity, and the lowest was a 2013. So he wanted a pre-owned or a new F-150. We assumed that the new one was just because maybe he didn't think he could afford it.
Right.
But why would he submit the lead on the Explorer, which was dumbfounding?
Right.
Come to find out, it was his wife that submitted the lead with his information, on the Explorer because that's what she wanted,
Right.
and he wanted the truck. So the marketing did not work for him to respond. But once we saw this, the intensity level was high on that F-150. They changed their message to James about how he can get into a 2015 Ford F-150 for 0% down, 72 months or whatever,
Oh, wow.
plus this amazing pre-owned. Immediately got James in for a test drive, and then went from there. So.
Joey and I went on for another half hour, so we're going to have to split this episode up into 2 segments. So stay tuned. In the next couple of weeks, you're going to get to tune in for part 2 with Joey. I appreciate him being on. He's a wealth of information. So thanks for joining us today on Who's Your Danny. We'll see you next time.
This thing right here is for the IS-20G. And this thing right here is by my man Danny B. What they call you?
Who's your Danny? They say it's me. Been doing cars since '83. I'm busting fools and teaching schools, sharing tools and breaking rules. Who's your Danny? They say it's me. Breaking it down for all to see. Keep it simple, keep it clear. The status quo is all I fear.